Hi, I'm Jasmine. Today we're at Bullagul Station and we're really excited to meet Elder Roy Kennedy.
Good morning, Mr. Kennedy.
Good morning, kids. How are you? Yeah, well, my name's Roy Kennedy. I was born on 24th of April 1932, so that makes me 86 years of age.
Hua Nampa.
Nampa, that's my tribal area. That's north of here, or once you get over the Lachlan River, that's you're in Nampa country. We're more or less known as the dry land people because out north, further north, there was no running rivers or anything like that, and the only running water we had was the Willandra Creek. In the winter time, we merged up into the scrub country where we could light fires and stuff like that. And in the summer we come down onto where we've got the cool breeze coming in from the west and so on. And we are now standing in Yampa country on the north side of the Lachlan River.
Where did you spend your childhood?
Yeah, I was born in Condobolin on the Lachlan River, brought back to Ivanhoe, out to the scrub country, smaller town, and taken out onto a property where Dad was the actual manager of the back property of Marfield Station, called Carrara it was in those days. Dad went as a sheep and cattle drover then, and we moved around with him from town to town.
Can you tell us about your family?
17 of us altogether, but Dad was married twice, but he married sisters. His first wife passed away when she was only young, and there was 5 children he had to her, 4 girls and 1 boy. And then he got Mum in as a housekeeper. So rather than have her housekeeper, he married her.
What are the best moments in your life?
You know, if I lived to 1,000 years of age, I'll always remember Marfield because the great times we had there. Like, I even went to school on Marfield. We had a travelling school teacher. He used to travel around had an old car, and he'd come in and he'd do a fortnight at our place, then he'd move on to the next property and he'd work his way right around until he came back to us. His name was Alec Fraser, brilliant, very brilliant teacher he was. During the Second World War, when people were virtually starving around the cities, you know, they couldn't get food and stuff like that. A lot of them eating out of garbage cans. But we were living like kings out there on Marfield. And like we had cows to milk. Mum used to milk cows. We had 5 cows, I think, and we had plenty of milk, cream. Mum was a brilliant cook. She could make her own butter out of the milk and cream and stuff. And Dad was a good butcher. He could kill his own sheep when he felt like it, or kill a bullock whenever he wanted. So we always had plenty of meat, plenty of yeast bread and stuff like that. Mum used to do all the cooking previous to that in camp ovens, big camp ovens. And then they put one of these big, Metis stove, wood stove. Wow, should have seen Mum. It was just like giving her a big electric range or big gas oven. Well, she went crazy. She cooked everything, you know. But, the atmosphere was brilliant, you know. We'd get dust storms out there and love every minute of it, you know. Yeah. But now if you see a dust storm running inside, shutting the doors, pulling the blinds down, turn the TV off.
What was Marfield Station like?
From one day to another was great, you know. Yeah. And we lived out there, peace and quiet.
Tell us about your family.
Dad was such a great stockman that he was really in demand, you know, all around the area. He was the only drover in New South Wales back in 1952 that handled so many thousand head of stock in one year. He broke a record. Burkle, Canyon, Broken Hill, White Cliffs. What we needed, we made ourselves, you know. He said, well, come over to Griffith. He said, I've got a place over there. Plenty of grape picking. So I had to go, I had to go this grape picking, and I don't think I picked enough grapes to make a bottle of wine. I said, Roy's out of this. I said, this little black duck's leaving here, you know. I said, I'm going back up north into the cattle country. Anyway, I went out to Nicarbo. I was a station hand, they used to call them then. And I stayed there for 2 years. So I saved up and I bought myself a motorbike, brand new, spanking new motorbike, Roy had. And plenty of clothes. R.M. Williams gear was the go in those days. R.M. Williams, you had to wear R.M. Williams. So I had a port full of them, and I said to the boss one morning, I said, look, I said, shearing's finished. I said, you're all right? He said, yeah, I'm all right. I said, I'm going to pull the pin. I said, I'm leaving. He said, what? What are you going to do? I said, oh, I'm going to work that out when I get to town, because I'd been to town a few times on the motorbike, see, for dances and stuff like that. So I said, I'm going to hit the bright lights. He said, oh, I said, you won't like that. He said, what are you going to do? I said, oh, I'll go shearing for a while. So I went shearing for a while, and that's hard work, I'll tell you. But I didn't mind it, so I got enough money to buy myself a truck. So I started the carrying business, and you know, I was carting everything, wool, and I finished up with a mail run from Ivanhoe to Orcagna. That was all right, but there wasn't a great deal of money in it for the roads were that rough, you know. And you wanted a new truck every 6 months. The roads were that damn rough, you know. If it rained, you couldn't move. No bitumen in those days. Wasn't even any in, nothing, no bitumen in the main street. But I stayed on that for a good while, long time, and I finished up in Orcagna because I was getting a lot of work in Orcagna, carting wool from Orcagna to Broken Hill to the railway lines, you know. And that had a bitumen road halfway, and that was good. So I used to load the wool up and cart it over there and bring fuel, backloading fuel from Broken Hill to Orcagna, and then do the mail run down to Ivanhoe. Finished up DMR, Department of Main Roads, when I was there, so I got onto all the plant, you know, graders. I finished up on a grader there, and in 1960 they said, we're moving the depot to Hay, do you want to come down? I said, yeah, I do, mate.
How did you meet your wife?
Used to eat in this good cafe there, and I used to go in there for a feed, innit? Anyway, I was away for a while, and I come back and this girl was working in there, so I cast eyes over a few times, and I thought, you know, she might make a good truckie's missus. So I threw her a dandelion, and because she fell for it. And every time I'd walk, she'd be waiting for me. What do you want, steak and eggs, ham and eggs? What do you want? Whatever you got there, darling, I used to say to her. We've been married over 60 years. So everything worked out pretty well there. My mother lived to 100. Oh, wow. 103 months she lived there and passed away in Hay. And we took her back out to Ivanhoe and buried her. Yeah, well this is the Moskell Post Office, or was. And over here is where the hotel used to be, the main hotel. Moskell Hotel, and out here there's a big hall, town hall out there. And down here is where the police station was and the hospital. That's where my father was born, down here. So that's all gone now. Moskell was a big town back in those days. And for the railway going through Ivanhoe, it ruined Moskell. Cemeteries across here, you can go up on the Ballinal Road and go into the cemetery. Oh, change in my life. It's just been unreal. Like transportation, like for a start, like sort of internet and going from a typewriter to a computer. Well, from Ivanhoe to Melbourne, with a truckload of wool would take about 2.5 to 3 days. Now it takes about 8 hours.
How do you describe yourself?
the main thing is, as a husband, because as a husband, you got a wife and a family to look after. You know, so that's a very important part of the business, is looking after your family. You've got to see that they're right and steer them on the right road, you know, to come out on top. Life's good. In some cases, it's a bit too good, you know, because you rely too much on the easy living. And if the time happens to arrive where you've got to go and do something that's a bit hard, that's when you fail, you know. So I think we're getting pampered a little bit. He goes drifting back when I was young and free, when we all lived together around the old wilga tree. We were all so happy there, my family and me, and we often sang together around the old wilga trees. Should have brought me guitar out.